a lot of us were waiting very anxiously.
Pins and needles.
It's been a whirlwind of the last week and a half. We went to the KDM convention, and then before that, we had the town hall with Tulsi. So during that town hall, Tulsi said, I asked her about Bolivia, and she said she needed to gather more information, and she would get back to us on that. People were like, Tulsi, where's your stance on Bolivia? I was like, Tulsi, come on. Because she's a regime change candidate, and Bernie Sanders called it a coup. Initially in his tweet, he said what appeared to be a coup. And then when he went on the forum with Jorge Ramos, which we're going to show again.
A coup.
I call that a coup. Exactly. And so people were awaiting like what the regime change candidate would say. And of course, Tulsi did not disappoint. Nope. She went and did her research and said that she was talking to the embassy of Bolivia. And what she said was, Pasta, would you like to read it?
What happened in Bolivia is a coup. Period. The United States and other countries should not be interfering in the Bolivian people's pursuit of self-determination and the right to choose their own government.
You don't sound anything like Tulsi, but that's still a great
I don't do a good Tulsi imitation. If it was Bernie, I can get it down and stuff like that.
That's because you're New York fan.
Well, you know what? I'll practice the whole...
You're not
like... Yeah.
Zen enough like Tulsi.
Well, you should do the Tulsi imitations and I'll do the Bernie ones and stuff. But this is a great statement over here. She says what happened in Bolivia is a coup, period. There's no questions asked. She did her research. She talked to people on the ground. And this is what she came up with. And the fact that she even went further by saying the United States and other countries should not be interfering in the Bolivian people's pursuit of self-determination and the right to choose their own government.
That's the most important part. Because that's the part that a lot of people left out. So Marianne Williamson was also one of the people to make a tweet about this. And the thing with my problem with her statement was that she said the election should be fair and democratic. The elections were fair and democratic. So I didn't like, and Ilhan Omar made something similar, AOC. And so Tulsi actually went right to the crux of the problem as much as she could without saying this is a CIA backed coup. She said, that United States needs to stay away because clearly we are implicated, right? Mm-hmm. And that she is a presidential candidate. She's a sitting congresswoman. She does have to be careful. And so does Bernie, exactly what they say against the government or against, the top secret sort of information. But I do commend her for taking it that step further because that makes a huge difference. We have to acknowledge that the United States is involved and is continuously involved throughout the world in overthrowing regimes, and this is why she's the regime change candidate.
I think there was one more thing that I would have liked to hear, but I didn't know if she could do it, and that was finishing on her sentence: the pursuit of self-determination and the right to choose their own government. And if anybody in our government is found to be meddling with the opposition, they should be held accountable too. Yeah. Something to that magnitude. I mean, she did say we need to stop messing around.
I agree.
And that's great. But this is a coup that crept up on us. It snuck up on this. I myself was a little surprised because I thought that Evo Morales had more power within his country than any other country. And I just assumed that because it had the biggest indigenous population out there. And he was a great indigenous leader who cut their, poverty by 40%, the extreme poverty by 60%. Everybody got jobs. The illiteracy rate went from like 14% to 2%. I thought he was so powerful that I didn't see it coming. Now I started getting the idea. I'm like, wait a second. The OAS is starting to snoop around there. But I thought it would be more like a Venezuelan kind of situation where they wouldn't be able to get a hold and it just wouldn't take place. But it happened. It happened quickly. It happened fast. And I have no fault of Tulsi's for taking the time to get it right. She is held to a higher standard than anybody else when it comes to regime change. So she wanted to get all the facts straight. So I'm glad she took the time to do that. And we kind of talked about the difference between her this time just saying, hey, listen, I'm gathering the facts. I'll get back to you. Yeah. As opposed to when I asked her about China, Hong Kong. It wasn't bad, but it was a little bit, look to the people of Hong Kong, look to the people. And I was like, that ain't the answer I'm looking for. I'm looking about who's funding this stuff that's going on. She progressed on that. She came forth, and when it came to town halls, it's like, ooh, look who's been doing her homework on China.
Right.
So count on Tulsi Gabbard to go out there, to grab the facts, to get it right, and to nail it. And this is awesome because even though it took a little extra time, she got it right 100%.
And not only she got it right, she took it to the next level, which is important. Like, I think, like, she should have said something earlier, but at the same time, because she came back with something so specific, like she always does, I think people shouldn't be like knocking her down because she took too long.
Yeah.
First of all, like we said, we had a busy week, and so did she. She had several events. She had a town hall. She wasn't invited to the convention, but then she had another event, and then of course we had the debate. So it's been nonstop this week for us. And then she was sick, and then she had to serve, and it was like I understand why. Like I said, the timing does matter. It did have an impact when Bernie said it. I think she would have said something at the debates if she had been allowed to be asked a foreign policy question. She kind of had to push herself on the foreign policy questions because they weren't really letting her go on those questions because they know that she would freaking wreck them.
Well,
so
I think she used the time of that foreign policy to go after Pete Buttigieg because that's what was needed and whatnot. And she didn't have a lot of speaking time. Yeah. But also, too, fam, to point out the fact that, you know, it's one thing to say it's a coup because it could be a coup, but that doesn't also imply who's involved with the coup. You know what I'm saying? This says, hey, and the United States need to stay out of it. She went further, like we said. I thought it was great. And, you know, there was a political side of me that was saying, well, maybe she's saving this for the debates to just go, bah, in front of everybody. Yeah. But if she was, she didn't have the time. She was sick. Almost less than a day later, she had the comment. We had some insider information. Somebody from Hawaii was on a rock fin that night and said, don't worry. It's coming, and it came. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and I appreciate Tulsi for keeping her word. That's the thing she does. She's a great leader. She doesn't tell you bullshit answers. She tells you, hey, I need to do my research, and she'll come back and give you that answer.